Good morning, everyone. It's good to see a number of schools logging in this morning. Can you all see my screen share? You should see an agenda posted.
I see it, Christy. This is Chris.
Great. Hi, Chris. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks, Jennifer. And let me just see who I see some familiar names. And if you want to put it in the chat or unmute and let us know you're here, let us know your name and what school district you're from. We're excited for this new public school charter opening and implementation, and we'd like to see who we have on the call today. Like I said, I recognize a lot of your names, but if you just put in the chat or unmute yourself and let me know who is on the call. Barbara Frank, hello, good to see you from Missoula.
This is Denise Williams, also from Missoula.
Oh, hi, Denise. Good to see you. Oh, I see Gary. Hi, Gary from Helena.
Hi, Christy. Gary Myers from Helena. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
You bet.
Jennifer. Oh, excellent. Jennifer, thanks for joining us as a parent. That's wonderful. Okay. Great. Well, as people are popping in, they can introduce themselves in the chat, but we're getting a number of different schools coming in. I'm going to go ahead and share my different screen really quickly here. And I'm going to start with sort of a broad overview of the public charter schools in Montana. All of you who are coming into the meeting this morning, we have some OPI folks on board. So let me introduce our OPI folks that are here. Chris Sinrud is our Chief Information Officer. He's here on the call. Barb Quinn is our School Finance Senior Manager. Paul Taylor, Budget Analyst, doing lots of work with our budget sheets right now. Rob Stutz, our Deputy Superintendent and Chief Legal Counsel, on the call. Emily Kovis is one of our implementation budget specialists as well. And Emily, I didn't quite say that properly. Would you reintroduce yourself and say what your title is? Because I kind of mixed up a couple of words there. Oh, you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Emily Kovis, research analyst in the school finance division, doing some of this implementation, I think is what you were going for.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, and you said it way better than I did. Thanks, Emily. And this is the team here who will be helping with your opening of your new charter school and implementation of the new charter schools in all of your districts. And if you're just joining us, if you're a school district representative or just joining into the call, please feel free to put your name and which school district you're from in the chat, just so we are aware of who's joining us this morning. A quick overview of the public charter schools in Montana. Here's a map on the screen here of where the charter schools are around the state. And you can see the list there below. And this just sort of gives you, hi Josh, it gives you an overview of the 19 new public charter schools here in the state. And the contracts were just finalized yesterday with the Board of Public Education. So you all have worked very hard putting your applications together, working with the Board of Public Education, getting approved, and then working through the contracting process. And now we're going to help you through the school opening process. And in order to do that, on the very front page of our website, we have a convenient button for charter schools. So if you click on this charter school link, I will put this in the chat for all of you to access. You'll see this says newly approved public charter school. So this is where we will post information, particularly as we're going through this spring with this new implementation of 19 charter schools at once. And this will be where you can, kind of a home base for you to come in and find information on the school opening process and then implementation as you're going along. Most of your schools are, all of your schools are in existing districts, so you all have run schools, you know how to do this, but we're working through the school opening process. And to do that, we've provided a guidance document. You click on the link and it will bring you to just sort of some background information on the public charter school bill, points, funding pieces, and for this round, none of these charters are new public charter districts. They're just new public charter schools, but we have information about those districts if that comes along in the future, and just the opening process. Probably the most first point of contact for you as you're going in to open your school is to use this request to open a new school form. This is a fillable form, so you'll fill this out, you'll gather the information that this form is requesting, and you'll submit that via file transfer to the OPI in order to get your school up and running, to get it assigned a proper school code, and to make sure that we get it into the school process so that we can get money transferred to get you in for programming, to get everything lined up for your school for accreditation purposes. So now that you've been approved as a charter school, you'll fill out this contact information and you'll look to this documentation required section of this form. And this is where you will know what documentation to submit to us. We first we'll look at the opening of schools process in Title 10, Chapter 6, Part 5 of the code annotated. And for an example, if you look at the high school opening or reopening of a high school, this would be the information that you would need to make sure to send along to us. And if you notice, a lot of the information is already in your charter school application. So as you send your charter school application to us, a lot of this information will be included in that. One point to note, and please, make sure you're following this information here, but there is a part where the county superintendent shall estimate the average number of belonging after investigating the probable enrollment for, in this case, I have the sample up of a high school. And this is where we need this information in order to get your school code open and to understand what your basic entitlement is. But we also, in working with the Board of Public Education, we want to make sure that we are not double counting students that were in your district last year for A and B purposes. And so for our budget reports, we want to ensure that students are not double counted. And so in doing this, when the county superintendent sends this anticipated enrollment estimate to the OPI, we'll use that to calculate your basic entitlement for next year. But on the budget sheet, you'll see that new charter school come in on the budget sheet. But when you get that, it will have 0 for student enrollment just for the first year of your public charter school for that budget sheet. So I just want to make sure that there's not confusion on that, even if as those budget sheets are coming through, and Paul Taylor, our budget analyst who works on these budget sheets, is on the call and can clarify, you will get your basic entitlement for these charter schools as long as you're meeting those minimums of the basic entitlement per the charter school law. It's just that budget sheet might look a little bit different in the very first year of a public charter. So we wanted to clarify that. But again, here is your landing page for a newly approved public charter school. School Finance and their website, they also have these same forms. So if you look, you can find these forms in either place. And now I'd like to open it up for questions or comments. We've got a few people from our various units here in the agency. We've got school finance representatives, we have program, accreditation, and assessment. If you have any questions, we're here to answer some questions. So feel free to unmute and ask the question, or pop a question into the chat if I can help, or any of our team. Hi, yeah, Josh, go ahead.
Just, I think you said this. I just wanted to re-ask to confirm what I heard. And that would be the part where it looks like the county superintendent needs to verify our expected A and B or the enrollment for the coming year in our charter. And then that will kind of drive the basic entitlement amount on the like 10 students per grade level formula. It's something like that. Like so that we get the basic entitlement for the expected thing. And then so that's question one. Did I interpret that right?
Yes, and Paul, I see Paul just is coming onto the screen and he can confirm that for you. Yeah.
Yep. And then the question was county superintendent. So we would need to meet with the county superintendent and kind of describe the, here's what we see, or if we have, we've done a preliminary survey or something like that. Here's the people that are going to enroll, we expect in this charter school. Here's where we are projecting our enrollment to be, so that that'll drive the basic entitlement. And then the timing of the basic entitlement, I'm sorry, I don't know this in general anyways. Like in my mind, I need to have the basic entitlement prior to opening the charter school so I can make sure we have the funds to open it as we described in our application. When's that basic entitlement dispersed to schools? Like what time of year? And Janelle probably knows this, our bookkeeper, but I don't. I'm sorry. Does Paul know?
Yeah, I think it can help you out with that, Josh, if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Thanks, Paul.
sure. So you have a charter contract, that's an agreement between the Board of Public Ed and yourself. You could actually take that contract and have the amounts that were estimated on that contract. You can meet with your county and say, well, this is what we estimated for our charter schools in this situation. The contract's gonna, and that contract, along with, I guess, an approval from the county as well, will come to the OPI. The plan is this: the preliminary budget data sheets that are going to go out onto our website tomorrow do not have your charter school information associated with it. However, when we get the contract and we can see that the enrolled students converted to then to A and B, if those amounts are greater than the minimal, I'm sorry, don't strike that. We're going to take a look at his amounts, and yeah, oh, I guess I am right. Yeah, so if they meet the minimums of 70, 20, or 40, we will reissue a preliminary budget data sheet that's basically will create a new school code. So you have another line on there, and it will say basic entitlement. You'll get the full amount of the basic entitlement added to your FY 2025 budget. So now when you're working into July 1, this upcoming July 1, we start the new fiscal year, the funding associated with the basic entitlement for the charter should begin flowing for fiscal year 2025. And we also want to get this done as soon as possible, because if we reissue a budget data sheet for you within the next couple of weeks, there's possibility that if you needed to run an overbase levy, that you'll have the appropriate official data. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And then thanks for being so helpful, both of you. The next question is that you talked about forms, but when I meet with the county superintendent or whoever does, do they sign something? Like, do they write a letter verifying it, or how do I get the information that the county soup has looked at it to you?
That's a great, and in the past, Josh, I believe, and Paul could maybe talk more about this too, or Barb, the county soup has written a letter and said, this
Okay.
is that anticipated, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So then I'll request county superintendent writes a letter to OPI, or that I submit. Do I submit it to OPI with my documentation, or? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. That's big question answered. Okay. Thank you. That was my questions.
Thanks, Josh. Anyone else have any questions? I don't see any in the chat. And feel free to unmute your microphone and ask or type in the chat. Does any OPI unit representative have anything to add or share with our schools this morning?
Actually, a follow-up thought, if that's okay, Christy.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Thanks.
Josh, just to follow up a little bit more, and maybe for all of you, we've released another spreadsheet along with the preliminary budget data sheets titled, it's the general fund budgeting spreadsheet. And Janelle and I may end up talking with each other, but there's a few new columns in there. It's unofficial, but they're in lieu of when we reissue your final data sheet, there's a tool now in there where you can estimate for the charter schools built into that. And so if anybody needs help using the new functionality of that spreadsheet, please feel free to reach out to me. And trust me, Janelle's got my phone number. I can't hide from her.
Oh. Hey, this is Denise Williams from Missoula. I think most of my questions got answered, but I am kind of looking down the road to the actual recording of possibly revenue, probably not, but more on the expenditure side. Do you guys anticipating us needing to track? I know we'll have to set up like a location code for the school, just like we do with our other schools, that 2-digit code, but will there be like a special program code or function, or are we just gonna kind of use what fits and just report it like we would at our other schools? Or have you thought that far ahead yet?
I'll say what my belief of what was going to happen would be is that you will use, because it's a school code of the district, and because there's a requirement for auditing and accounting purposes, that you would report on your TFS the expended revenues and expenditures associated with the charter school underneath the school code that is associated with the charter. Do you have any
Okay,
further
yeah.
thoughts on that, Denise?
Well, I mean, the expenditure side would be, just the normal course of business, right? Because we have to do that anyway. The revenue side, I'm not sure how we could even separate that out. We don't do that right now. We don't separate it out by school. So the revenue side is kind of a question. If it is to be tracked separately, we probably need guidance on how to calculate that number.
Yeah.
So something
I
to
see.
ponder.
Thanks,
Right, I
Denise.
guess
I see
so.
Rob has his hand up. Rob, did you have something to say to this? I just see your hand up there.
Yeah, no, not to this. So I'll just wait my turn.
Okay, thanks.
So let's just flesh this out for 2 seconds, Denise, because you and I have done stuff like this before.
Yep.
Revenue associated with the basic entitlement, that's pretty clear. Revenue associated with the per student portions, not as clear, but fairly easy to determine.
Mhm.
Revenue associated with other components that are determined district wide. Yeah, I know. I'm hearing you.
I know.
Right, a
Yeah.
teacher's $3,673 this year, so that's the state portion. So now you got to direct that into revenue received for the charter if you have teachers there.
Right.
I see where
But
you're
would
coming
it be a
from.
separate code? It'd be a separate 300 level code, wouldn't it? Or would it, we're gonna shove a org code in there, or a location code
Yeah, I think that's what you have to
in the
do.
Mayfairs? I don't know. So just, yeah, we might have to flesh that out, huh? Well, it would be before the fiscal year 25 TFS, but we'd
Right.
want to know before the fiscal year starts so we could set up our accounting systems on our end.
All right, well,
Sorry.
okay.
So this is Janelle. Can you tell me why you think we need to separate out the revenue? Because for your federal reporting, you don't separate out revenue. So it'd just be a state mandate if we separated out revenue.
Good point.
Let's not drop this topic. I talked to you guys enough anyway. Let's make sure we come to consensus on what needs to be done.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for the good questions. Anything else on that topic? And we will circle around. We'll get a definitive answer and add that to our guidance so that you all will know that going forward to plan for those budgets and reporting. There are, open it up to OPI. Anyone else have anything to add? Rob, your hand was up, but now it's not. Do you or want to say something?
Yeah, I was just wanted to step in. Rob Studs, Chief Legal Counsel, Deputy Superintendent. Just wanted to step in and thank everybody for participating in the meeting. Also, all the good work that has happened during the public charter school application process, the BPE, working with BPE, but specifically wanted to applaud the folks who are raising these good questions with OPI. It is a new, although the school opening process isn't new, the school opening process for public charter schools and the funding mechanisms have some nuances. And I just wanted to encourage everybody to maintain that conversation with OPI staff after this meeting. The questions you have are excellent, and they'll allow us to refine our guidance and our support in ways that'll help both you and other districts going through the process. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Rob. And I see Jolene, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Can you hear me? Am I?
Yep, we can hear you.
I have a cold. I joined late, so if this is repetitive, please just tell me and I'll listen to the video. I have expenses that I'm incurring now. If we're getting a new school code, Paul, can I use it now? Can I use it this year? If I'm not expecting revenue, but I'm gonna have expenditures.
Well, so that's a good question. You've been approved for a charter school for what fiscal year?
We have 2 starting 24-25.
So that's as of July 1, 2025. So
Yeah. No, 24. It's this year. I mean, next school year. Sorry. Yes, you're right. 25. My bad. Yes, 24-25.
yeah, I can't give you the final definitive answer on this, but if a legal entity only exists beginning on July 1, I would think that expenditures and revenues would be incurred for that, beginning that fiscal period. I
Okay.
don't think you can preemptively allow for expenses. Somebody else with more knowledge in accounting can please correct me.
No,
Paul,
that's fine.
I'll just step in from legal and say that's our view as well, as if the entity doesn't exist until July 1st, even if it has a school code in anticipation, it would come into existence from a legal perspective on that date, consistent with the legislation and with the contract with BPE.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. It's fine. I just didn't know when I should start tracking that way. Perfect. Thank you.
Nope.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Jolene. No, good questions. Anyone else? Anyone from our OPI staff want to share anything more? Any other questions? Okay. Well, this session, I did record it. I will get it posted on our public charter landing page. And again, you see all of our program staff here ready to help with opening this school. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Reach out to me. I'm available by email or phone, and I can certainly connect you with the right person at OPI to get your question answered if I don't know it. And we're happy to see you all. And we have another webinar scheduled, as you can see, on Wednesday, March 20th at 4 p.m. It'll cover the same information, but again, as we're going and other questions come up, we may have some more updated information. As Emily posted in the chat, our guidance document is sort of a living document, and we'll keep it updated. As these good questions come in, we'll get answers and have that guidance updated for you as well. So reach out to us at any time. We're here to help, and we're glad to see you all today. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.